An addict is just like an insane person. The same way an insane man on the street, the madman on the street, look at you and think that you are mad, that you are not normal. The same way an addict look at you and tell you you are not even feeling anything. A learned person that has the ability to read what is written on the pack of cigarettes will carry the pack, look at it, and sees, intelligent person that knows how to read and write, sees smokers are liable to die young. It can damage your liver and blah blah, and the person will tear the carton and remove it. Smoke. As of this time, you are an insane person. You are not normal. Because a normal person won't do that. You are now acting according to instructions of the demons that are set to damage your life. There are environments in which a smoker would stay and he can never stop smoking. So I want to talk about external influence of addiction. Every addiction has external influence. And for you to overcome an addiction, or for you to overcome any addiction, you must deal with external influence. There are environments in which a smoker would stay and he can never stop smoking. There are environment. I went to a particular community one day. I noticed young men smoking, drinking, they are into alcohol. And then what God taught me in that place is that the priest covering that environment is the priest of alcohol. See, there are territories in which anyone stays in that place except through the help of God. You'll be influenced by the powers of that place. If the princes of that land requires that every man in that land walk into drunkenness, you will find more drunkards in that place. You find people drinking and smoking for nothing. They just find pleasure in it because of the priest of that territory. So a priest in that place is an external influence, influencing them through their peers. The priest. Remember, Paul was teaching in the book of Ephesians chapter 6. He says we are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, the rulers of this world. So there are principalities that has already know things about this earth before you came. In short, after God, this priest has existed with God. They were in the beginning. They saw when man came into play. So the princes of this world, the principalities of this world, they understand everything about this world. They can give man account. The account of man. They can give man account of his existence. So the principalities of this world, they know things about this world even more than man. So Paul, speaking in the book of Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, Paul says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. These are wickedness in high places. They have existed before the world became. And these principalities, they feed on the wickedness of men. They feed on addictions of men. Their energy, what fuels the energy of spiritual wickedness is sin. And 90% of sin is an addiction. Yes. Anyone that has blood in his hand will always want to have another blood. anyone that commits murder will always want to commit another one. The same way, someone that someone that is into the sin of immorality, because it's found pleasure in his sight. Because it found pleasure. There are territories in which you go. There are principals governing that territory. And if the principalities of that territory demands prostitution or demands immorality, you will find 70% of people, young people there, into prostitution. It's a territory. So there are states, there are nations in which you go. You discover that everyone is into one addiction or the other. So principalities in a location determines what the people there practice. It says it's a normal thing. Have you gone to some places and you see that in that territory, the people, they are just rascals. They are rascals. They live anyhow. And you think it's because they choose to live. It is the adjustment of the principalities of that place. In the spiritual realm, it is what is fueling that territory. What is keeping that territory moving. So the people there would think it is a normal life, but it is not so, because in the beginning it was not so. The principalities of that place only condition them to work according to how they want them to work, or what will be fueling them. Every environment or every territory has principalities. And now these principles are government, spiritual government that is guiding that territory. And so they decide on what should be practiced and what should be done. Most at times, these things happen as the fact that men who have been in that place have practiced that for a long time. And so it becomes a fuel that is fueling the territory. It becomes a norm to that place. I hope you know that if you practice an habit for a while, it becomes an addiction. So the same way you can pour incantation, the same way people pour liberation and invoke spirits, every act you do soon becomes a normal thing. It provokes spirits of that territory. Initially, when people start watching porn, initially day one of watching pornography, it is just a normal thing. A normal movie, you just see it, wow, this movie. And then day two, it might be normal. Day three, it won't be normal. It will not remain normal again. Because by doing it continuously, you have invoked a spirit to come in. You have invoked the princes that governs that addiction to come in. And so once they set in, it becomes difficult for you to stop it. It becomes difficult. Science, according to health part, or science, let me call it science. They said, the hormones for pleasure releases dopamine, which you desire more of that which you had. But I'm telling you, the same way, listen, in the African society, people will go to the forest, cut wood, bring it to the house, and they name it, start pouring incantation. When they bring it from the forest to the house, that thing is not, it's just a normal wood. But when they name it, begin to pour drink and greet it every day, it's no longer normal. That wood begins to give instruction. That wood begins to control even the man that went to cut it from bush. Because it has taste beyond normal, and the princes which are involved of consistent doings will come and dwell in that place. Demons, when you want to study the demons, how they work, you look at Satan, look at him, the way Satan works. In the book of Job, when God interviewed him, "So, young man, where are you coming from?" He said, "I am moving to and fro in the earth." He's roaming about. So in the book, I think it's Ephesians, Paul also noted it, that this man is moving around to and fro, looking for whom to devour. The way he's moving around, he's not moving alone. He's moving with principalities. He's moving with the regions of his demons. Demons are not one. Once you give room to one, you have accept another one. Once you have accept a particular demon, you have accept another, because that one will go to bring another one, which they become two, and after a while they become legion. They don't like staying alone. Yes, if there are things that are too incorporate, is demons. So Jesus says, after casting demons out from a man, if care is not taken, when the demons is cast out, then it goes to the wilderness and roam about. After a while, it will come back to check if the space is empty. If the space is empty, it will go out to bring 7 more. They don't like vacuum, so they come and stay more. They become legion. They will stay. That's why one person can be possessed of different things. What am I driving at? External influences of addiction. Most people are possessed. Most people are possessed by the addiction in which they are given to. Most people are possessed. You see someone that cannot pass drink by. Every drink he want to test. Every drink. Some people have made it as a routine to drink every Sunday to scoop up. Some people make it as a deal to drink every day at least 2, 3, 5, 6 bottles. And each time they drink, they get drunk. Now they move to a standpoint in life where they don't need to drink in order to be drunk. Drunkenness becomes permanent because they have invoked the spirit for a long time, and so the spirit becomes permanent in their life. They don't, even if you wake them 6 o'clock in the morning, they're already drunk without testing wine. They can see someone holding wine. The spirit is occupying them. External influence. So if you are the one that you are the one that use yourself to invite the external influence to come backing you up in your addiction. You invite them in. Whatever you invite, be ready to keep it. So that's why at this point I will tell you that any addiction that you're struggling with, if you check that environment is filled up with 70% of people also struggling with that thing, try as much as possible to cut it off, to cut that environment off. Move out from that territory, because no matter how long you stay in that territory, you will continue struggling with it. Now, external influence again. If you check that environment, you notice that your friends, if you check the companies you keep, and you notice that those people, the people around you, are also struggling with what you're struggling with, please part. What I mean by part is depart from that your friend. Tell him, oh, I think this journey could not continue again. So, for most people, in the period while they are still struggling with addiction, they are still keeping people with them who are also struggling, or who are also enjoying the addiction. Because every addict has this point in his life where he feels, I'm tired of this thing. How long will I continue with this? And then the demons will be telling him, oh, why do you want to go? This thing is making sense. So every addict comes to this point, and I call it a returning point. A returning point. So every addict has this point where he feels, what am I doing to myself? I need to stop this thing. At this point, it becomes a battle. So, and every addiction has the climax point where the person feels, I can't do without this thing. I can't do without this thing.